Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here, and welcome to a video all about CETRION. That's right, this is the ultimate guide to beating CETRION. If you ever lost to a CETRION, you're like, well, there's nothing I could do. You know, just kept spamming me out, or, you know, just kept doing the rock wall, you know, like, this is a video for you. So if you're interested in videos like this, you want to see more about a character that maybe you've been struggling with, you know, consider subscribing. Comment down below on who you want to see next. But I'm telling you all my secrets, as CETRION is a character that I play, so let's get into it. So starting off with her normals, as far as beating her, there's not really a whole lot to know. Forward 1 can be a bit of a threat kind of in this range, but I mean, that's not usually where she wants to be, but she'll kind of use it if she feels that you're outspacing her, and then she can kind of go into that move, which does end in a low attack, but no one ever really uses a low, so if you're a CETRION player, hey, throw that out every once in a while. You might catch somebody. Standing 1. Very, very important. Do not jump at CETRION unless you're 100% sure your jump attack's going to hit, because this is one of the best anti-airs in the game. It has a huge vertical hitbox, huge outward hitbox, so just be aware of that. Do not jump at CETRION straight on, like from here or anything like that, unless you're 100% sure that that jump's going to hit. Like if you've got a Scorpion jump kick or a Kung Lao jump kick, you know, outside of that, just be very aware that this is one of the best anti-airs in the game, so just avoid jumping in this range at all costs. Now that I've beat that into your head, next normal I want to mention is down 2. Not because it's particularly good, it's actually really stubby with like no range at all. It can work as an anti-air in some instances, but that's really its only purpose. If she does get the crushing blow, down 2 is one of the few crushing blows where you will want to use your air escape against her. So if she gets a down 2 crushing blow, air escape out of it, because it leads into her most damaging combos, and if she loses that opportunity, she can't use that for the rest of the match. So save your defensive meter if you're not using it for wake up to get out of that down 2 crushing blow. Outside of that, not much to know. She doesn't have any crushing blows off of her throws, so don't worry about guessing right or wrong on those ones. You know, either way, she does have a decent throw range, so kind of just be aware of that. She can use it similar in her range to forward 1, so you know you're not always safe. There you were. See this? See what I did? Yeah, just messing with your head, you know. So that's basically all I have to say about her normals. Let's move on to some combo strings, and this is kind of where you might run into some problems. So we'll get rid of a couple here that don't need too much mention. So 112, that's going to be her main, like, I'm going to commit to it and, you know, not get too much, but it will hit you away. So what it does is it will push you kind of back into the range that a lot of the time she wants to be in. One quick backdash and there she is, she's back there. So this will often be like, I'm not sure I'm going to punish it, but I'm going to throw it out anyways, or I think you're advancing, so I'll come in, because standing 1, again, has really good hit range and that kind of thing. Alternatively, there's 114, which isn't used a lot, but I have a pretty high success rate when I use it, because there's that slight delay, I think, and then the low that people aren't ready for. You won't really see a whole lot of CETRION players use this move. It's minus 12 on block, but again, most people aren't ready for it, so I rarely ever, I don't think I can remember one time I got punished for using it, so. But keep in mind, it is unsafe if she uses it. 213, the overhead is minus 9, but it has a lot of pushback. So most of the time you won't be able to punish it. That's where it leaves you. Kind of right in her range for forward 1. In the Force of Nature variation, this is a true 50-50 with the low and the overhead. You literally have to guess unless you can react to the animation. So you see here the 213, the startup on the last hit is 22 frames. Go over to Earthquake, startup is 22 frames. It is a true 50-50. However, the Earthquake is punishable at minus 15, whereas the overhead is not at minus 9 with pushback. So, you know, you're not really going to get crushing blowed if you try and block the Earthquake and get hit by the overhead. Earthquake is going to do a little bit more damage, though, to you. So that's how you want to gauge that risk-reward is kind of up to you, and it also depends on whether she's got the crushing blow on this or not. If she's already got that, then, I mean, maybe try and block the Earthquake, and make sure that you know exactly how to counter the Earthquake, which we're going to get into later. So the next string I want to get into is the forward 2, let's set them to block all. Forward 2, 3, 4. So the forward 2, 3, 4 has many different properties, and this is more of a problem in spring cleaning, when she can just do forward 2, 3, and then put up the barrier, and then she's done. So if she staggers it, she is punishable at, I believe, minus 9. Minus 10. So make sure that you react to that, that you are ready to punish that if you see that she staggers it. And then, of course, if she finishes it, there's 3 hits, and then she is punishable at -9, which is a tight punish. But if you have a 7-frame move, shouldn't be much of an issue for you. If you have an 8-frame, it's a little bit tighter. So make sure that you know the timing on that. There is an option that can kind of beat both. This is character dependent, as I just found out. So you can actually press a button in between the low and the overhead. In some instances, actually punishing her for a full combo. I will try and show you this with Baraka here, so you can get an idea of what your character may or may not be able to do. So you see there, we did trade with her initially, but we ended up getting 350 damage for the trade in our favor. We were able to recover and punish her with the down 2. And if she would have staggered that, you know, maybe down 2 would have at least pushed her back. So it's a good kind of middle ground to kind of cover both scenarios. And like I said, it is character dependent. Your character, some characters, I think CETRION can actually like standing one herself out of it. So, and then that would also beat her stagger on it as well. Nothing, of course, will beat the natural barrier, but that does come up pretty quick. So most of the time, if you try and press a button, sometimes you'll get it stuffed. Sometimes it'll just force you back into a blocking situation. So that's something good to know about CETRION and something to lab with your character. Outside of that, the only strings that she really has is 2-1, which is actually a pretty good stagger. You can 2-1 into back 3-2. I like to do that sometimes just because catch people late blocking the overhead. Go into that, which is safe at -5. There you go, -5, back 3-2. And then 2-1, 2-2-2, which you'll find them using to chip you out to get rid of your last health or whatever. There's a mosquito that was on my arm. That was really annoying. I'm sorry, guys. That kind of ruined my jam. But anyway, so that's it for normals and strings. Let's go into her special moves and see what we can do here. So let's talk about boulder spam for a second, because as it is true that you can't jump or else you might get hit with that. And I can also throw the low boulder. As you see, I got Baraka here set to reversal. So if you throw the low boulder and you block the low boulder, it frame traps into the low ground pound. As you can see, Baraka was not able to get his fatal blowout. Oh, there I even messed it up a bit, and I still beat his armor before it came out. So, something to keep in mind, you do have to block that. You don't have to, but just be aware that it is a frame trap, if I time it right. You can try and be cheeky and try and jump out of it, but, you know, it may hit you, don't be surprised. Then it's my turn to guess again. So that's kind of where the zoning comes in. Every boulder I throw is with a purpose. So whether it's to, I'm going to have them reversal it off so I can just kind of... So I throw a boulder, guarantees the ground pound. Okay? So I throw a boulder, you know that it guarantees the ground pound, so instead of doing ground pound, I'm going to do another boulder because I'm seeing that you're sitting there blocking. I'm going to do this until I think that you're frustrated enough to try and move. Then I'm going to throw out another ground pound, and then you're like, well, when is it my turn? Because I'm sick of blocking these boulders, and I'm scared of the ground pound. So this is kind of where the mind game comes in with CETRION, you know, is if you can wait it out and just block one ground pound, or counter one ground pound, which I'll teach you about in a second, you know, it changes the whole matchup, because after the ground pound is your turn to move, because she's at -15. I believe we went over that earlier. -15, which is a lot. So you can just move in, like you do a dash into a jump. You know, that brings you so much that far in. Baraka could just whiff a forward 4-4 if he wanted to. That would bring him in. So, yeah, so just keep that in mind. Think about tools that your character has that can move them forward after that, you know, blocked attack. You know, instead of just trying to dash, because a lot of times dashes can be kind of slow and unreliable, and then if you try and jump, then you have the fear of me doing this. So it's not a fun time. So just wait for the ground pound or make the right read and either jump over the boulder. A lot of the better players I play can actually react to this hitting the ground and just jump over it after that. Or they try and flawless block it. And if you flawless block it, then you don't have to deal with the block stun on the boulder and you can actually move forward faster. That is a little bit more of an advanced strategy, but that is an option there for you. So when you're full screen against CETRION, you do have quite a few options available to you. You just have to know when to use them and when not to use them. So a lot of the times it looks like you're just throwing boulders, but every boulder is setting up the next move that I'm going to do. Heaven forbid you block that. So I'll take a second here to talk about the special moves of Spring Cleaning, which are the Rock Wall and the Geyser, and of course the Teleport. Teleport is probably one of the strongest moves in her moveset. She can teleport far away from you if she wants to. make it kind of a guess. I see a lot of Cetrions will do the faraway one and then an immediate geyser, so be aware of that. That seems to be something that they like to do. It is unsafe. I believe the geyser is very similar to the ground pound at minus 15, even more so, minus 20. Same with this. There's a difference here though. This, of course, you can amplify to make it safe. So the guess is whether I stop here, or whether I amplify it. And then if I amplify it, it's another guess, because then you can flawless block the amplify and full combo punish me for it instead of me being at minus 4, and you don't get the pushback. That's the most important thing. You don't get the pushback. So you're I'm at minus 14, and you're right in my face. So instead of doing like a flawless block attack, you just do like a regular flawless block and then go into a string or whatever you want to do. So I'll attempt to show you how it looks like here with young Baraka. So there you go. So 388, well 488 damage if you include the tick throw, or the tick damage, just for CETRION doing the enhanced rock wall. That's funny, she just jumped off of that because I recorded her. So keep that in mind, that's very important because you don't really want to let them get away with the rock wall too much. It is a bit of a strong guess, but of course you can punish it at regular distance, and then of course if you flawless block it as well, you have that option, so just know about that. The Hell's Wrath, which is in both variations, is unsafe at minus 21. A little bit less recovery if she does it in the air as opposed to if she just does it on the ground. Some characters like Garrus can just straight up punish this on the way down. Perhaps your character can too, depending on the moves that they have, but that's definitely something to lab. It can be punished, but again, it is character specific, so just be aware that you don't always have to hold this move. If you're just always holding this move, there might be something that you could be doing about it that you just haven't figured out yet. So I urge you to lab that and figure it out, depending on what your character is. Outside of that, spring cleaning, not really a whole much else to talk about. She can do her teleport in the air, which is stupid. She can do the geyser. Geyser Sose, shouts to you. So it's just basically whatever you know, it's a guess. A good spring cleaning is not hard to beat. She does lose the ability to delay her boulders in this variation or cancel her boulders. So it's a straight up guess. She has to commit to one or the other. So that can sometimes play in your favor, sometimes not, depending on how she's zoning out. So just keep that in mind. And then that was something that I forgot to mention in the Force of Nature variation, is that she can cancel the boulder. It's a pretty instant cancel too, so she can. I use it a lot against Scorpion players, just to bait them to teleport, because they'll just see some sort of movement. They're like, "Oh my god, teleport, squirrel!" And then they come up the other side, I block and punish them. So, and again, I can delay and choose exactly where I want to choose it. That comes in handy sometimes against people who are trying to flawless block this, and I just slightly delay it just to throw off their timing. So that's I feel like that's a good thing to mention. And other than that, the last thing I'm going to show you, and we're going to end it here with a little montage of some things that certain characters can do to punish this, is there is a gap in the ground pound, and so many people do not abuse this. Like, a lot of characters have options here, whether it's just moving around it. Yeah, there is a gap. You can block the first one, the first hit of it, and get out of the second one. Same as Jax's. Jax's ground pound works the same way. You're welcome if you didn't know that, by the way. So that's it for this video. I'm going to show you some examples here of how you can get around CETRION's ground pound. I'm going to try and put, because obviously Baraka, full screen, not a whole lot he can do about it. Like right here, he does have a few options. So I will leave you with what those options are for each character, and you'll see where you kind of want to be with each character, dependent on, how you want to punish it. So if you like this, please leave a like, and if you're new here, subscribe, because we make new videos every single day. #BigDinkEnergy, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.